You know, after doing the last episode of Jessica, and she made some comments, her neighbor made some comments, and I just decided I just can't do this anymore. I feel really bad. You know, she almost died, and I just don't think that I can play a role in exposing her anymore, because her health and losing somebody, that contributes so much to this world is just, it's just too much. I can't do it anymore. And, I just don't really want that on my head. So I'm sorry. I just can't do it anymore.
Can you feel a little love?
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode 4, The Dark Side of Jessica. With all her aliases, Johnson has never been in all her last names ever. She's claiming that her and Hunter are married, or Hunter likes to, they constantly get, oh, we're married. Guess what? They're not married. They've never been married. John has confirmed with me, John Seward confirmed with me that the divorce was, they never went into proceedings for a divorce. So her last name is still Seward, married name, her maiden name is Lewis. So they are not married. Although I think this is really fun because all of her alias names, Shaw, James, Seward, Cornwell, but my favorite of all is Blowjob. I want to start really with the opening where I'm crying, right? Having that emotion. And that emotion is exactly what Jessica and Hunter want. They want for every one of us that have exposed her to feel like shit for doing so. How dare we do this? They're soliciting the emotion. So on the last video, we're exposing the fact that no, there is no baby Maverick and Trudy. None of this is real. None of it's true. It's just a big scam that Jessica has created online and all these groups to get free items and get money. And boy, I mean, what a big scam, right? I mean, you have to pull off a pregnancy for 9 months. You have to stay on top of dates and all this stuff, but they avoid that after the last video, and all the comments right away it's into defending themselves, excusing stuff, but never addressing really what is said in it, because that's what they're good for. They're good at diverting the attention from one question into, oh, look at this. So the biggest one was that Jessica had this heart attack, heart failure, respiratory failure, and she ended up in the hospital. And it's this big pity party of, oh my God, she almost died, how dare you? And behind the scenes outside of YouTube, Hunter decides to send Rhea a text. Now, Rhea is somebody that has gifted a lot to this baby, well, to Trudy, first of all, but not only that, but to Maverick. And so Hunter thinks, well, I can play on that emotion, play on those feelings, because Rhea, of all people, who is struggling with cancer, she'll feel sorry for us. She will know that this relationship was true and real. She almost died. She went into the hospital. She turned blue and purple and pink and green, and she's in the hospital. Please, Rhea, Jess thinks of you as a sister. I thought it was Aunt Rhea, for baby Maverick. She's sister now because there's no baby. Okay. Well, I'm sure we know what Rhea said. And then he sends this my chart to Rhea right away, and we already don't trust them, obviously, because of all the falsified documents that they've already put out there. Fake baby images and fake records of the NIP test, and just really lied about so much. And then also with this discharge paper here, none of that's the same. We've got this doctor here, Jacob Welch, which was easy to look up at this Metro Health, which is a hospital. But for somebody that went in for a silent heart attack, I mean, this is really a pretty silly, I think, discharge instructions for something that severe. She almost died. How could you even possibly believe any of this with the records? We all know with HIPAA that we can't obviously get medical records to disprove it. In their defense, they're sending Ashley medical records from my chart saying, look, this is real. This really, really did happen to Jessica. Of course, he sends these medical records over and he blocks out stuff. And really, when you look at a real chart, you can see what he's blocking out is the name and dates and doctor names, but it's all obvious. I mean, we know what hospital it was from the other chart. We know all that. It doesn't matter. There's really no reason for him to block all this out except for the fact that it's not Jessica's chart. And it makes perfect sense to me that Jessica would be on her mother's chart, because if she's some caretaker for her mother, because her mother apparently has a lot of health issues, then she would have access to her mother's charts. And that would be my assumption. Now, of course, there's no way, I don't think we're ever going to be able to prove any of this. And maybe that's okay, because the truth is this is, again, just another diversion. It's taken us away from the real reason that these videos have been created. Nobody really gives a shit about this. If you ended up in the hospital, it's because of your own doing. So don't put that out there, because we really, honestly, do not give a shit. They just want us to get pulled away from the Maverick story and take a look at this. But in doing that, all he does again is shows to me how they scam, and they're full of trickery, really, is doing charts that are not, to me, again, are not factual. And then he's like, here, let me show you all the medications she's on for heart failure, respiratory failure, and what was the other one? Oh, the silent heart attack that nobody could hear. And I know a lot of people with the drugs that know that. You can look at that. I'll have that all up on screen for you to look at. We'll understand probably when you look at these drugs that it's all kind of weird. First of all, that if somebody did go in the hospital for summer, you're almost dead, and yet they're out in a couple days. And yet now that the dangers I put up with Lexapro and Wellbutrin, because apparently Hunter's saying those are the two things for sure that Jessica is on, and I don't think any doctor would actually prescribe these two medications together because of the dangers of having those together. And I'm no doctor, and I don't play one on TV either. Well, the other thing with the discrepancies, if we're going to go there, which they obviously, that's where they want us to go, is with the hospital stay, is that Hunter had sent Ashley a text on 9/10. And on 9/10, of course, he has the oxygen levels at 70 with a text to Rhea, but with Ashley, the oxygen levels are at 78. Really, the bottom line is that he doesn't have his date straight with the hospital stay. So what he does, and it's a really good distraction, Mike, is he'll point us in this direction, and then we'll start picking at that to try to say, no, none of this is factual. And then it takes us away from really the bottom line, with really what's going on here, is that Jessica is a scam artist and has been for a very long time, and has committed fraud, which is criminal, and has deceived many, many people on a fake adoption and no pregnancy and no baby Maverick. And that's where we're gonna stay. So, good try with that. So let's get back to really talking about the CPS visit. In my last video, I make it very clear that CPS said that Jessica and Hunter claimed there was a stillborn, and they had forged document with a doctor that doesn't exist. And of course, he did defend himself on YouTube by saying, as for a forged document, it was not forged, it was given to her by an OB nurse. We have been in contact with the OB office, and they are working with CPS caseworker and us. Okay, that's not even true. It really is, okay, me coming on camera and just making that statement is one thing. I know for a fact that the baby never existed, okay, never. It was a lie to CPS saying it was stillborn, and they just kind of came up with some half-assed document. And then I said, you know what, I am gonna call CPS, and this is what I did. So I called CPS. I want you to listen to CPS, and this is exactly what was said. Calling is because, I don't know, you went over to their home for
Yes.
a child, Maverick.
Mm-hmm.
And this baby does not exist, correct?
Correct.
And they had told you that the child was stillborn?
Yes.
And that the documentation that they showed you...
what's the purpose of this call?
Well, the reason I'm calling is, this... Have you had a chance? Did they tell you about the videos that I've produced about her?
I have seen them.
Okay.
With the different baby pictures.
Right. So
yes, my coworkers let me see it.
Okay, so the reason for it is that we believe there's more criminal activity going on with her. And
okay, that's fine, but the agency job is to make sure children is not abused or neglected. It's no child to be abused or neglected because she lied about it. So if you want to file criminal, that's something the agency has nothing to do with.
So you guys, did you turn this over to the police?
Once again, our job is to make sure that the child is not abused or neglected. It was no child, so our investigation is over at this point.
Okay, but with that information, because of the false, the lies with actually having this child and all that, and the criminal end of it, because there's a lot of medical records that were stolen, a lot of forged documents, and I'm just wondering if your report would be supportive in us going forward with a criminal charge.
Okay, we don't have anything to do with it. I did speak to my superior, but she told me to wrap it up because it's no child and we have nothing to do with it. Our job is basically, it's no kids, so we out of it. If you choose to press charges because she lied on about the baby, that's up to you. But if they need any records, they're going to have to subpoena them.
Okay. I know that. Right. Okay. So on that end, can I ask, when you were over there, did you see a mother, an older lady there?
Yes, I did.
Okay, because there's some concern about her as well, and I know you just do children.
No, it's not no concern because she has a home health aide that comes over, and every time I went over there, the home health aide was there. So we don't have any concerns about the mother or the father because they have a home health aide.
Oh, so the man is living in the home as well, the older man?
Anything else you may need, because you're not going to pick me for information. What else can I help you with?
Okay, well, I just appreciate...
Okay, you have yourself a nice day.
Okay, thank you.
You not gonna pick me for information.
Oh, she wasn't too bad, but this is my problem with this right here, is they're just doing their job and they're not going to take it a step further or go any further with it, which is bullshit, bottom line, okay? They go over there twice to investigate. They go through the effort of giving a fake document showing a baby that's stillborn and then a forged signature of a doctor that doesn't even exist. But they're not going to do anything about it. They're not going to report it to the police for a crime. They're just, no, we're done. We're done. We did our job. There ain't no baby. So I guess we don't have nothing else to do. I talked to my supervisor. How about if you step up to the plate and actually go outside of your little job duty and do something a little more productive? But I have to subpoena it in order to get the actual document? Well, I think she made it very clear right here that yes, they lied, and yes, they forged documentation. There is no baby. So we're done with this conversation. No more fucking lies, all right? We're over it with you going on YouTube and commenting there and saying this and excuse and one excuse after another and then pulling this bullshit about Jessica because we really don't give a shit, okay? The neighbor is gonna go and post on YouTube as Ariel. Ariel is Jessica, just like Jasmine is Jessica. When nobody is believing Hunter and nobody is believing Jessica, they create a character and they talk like they're the neighbor. And I just think it's awesome because of the way they talk about this. So, first of all, the unchristian-like behavior. Good thing I'm not a Christian. Just boosting her own ego. They're just a cute, quiet couple. That's all they do all day is sit around and cuddle, cuddle, cuddle because they love each other so much. But she has to like put it out there as a separate party. So now we're going to believe that for sure. It must be true then that they're a sweet, loving couple. And Hunter does have a job. He actually works. But I thought they were together all the time. They can't be together all the time if he's working. Bottom line, what this is just saying this is an outside source confirming that everything that we know is a lie. She's gonna tell us that it's all true, that really this is all true. And it's just how she puts it with, I will confirm Hunter and Jess are legally married. Guess what? No, they're not. They're not legally married. For the Maverick situation, but unfortunately for Maverick, I can't talk about that for legal reasons. Jess is so sweet. She is so sweet. For John to tell the truth, I seen police reports on the abuse. I seen the adoption papers on Trudy. And you think we're falling for this? This Jasmine way back? This was your other alter ego that you threw out there, Jasmine, confirming what Jess and Hunter went through in IVF treatment. I mean, never had kids again, but I know what IVF is and I know this shit these couples go through with IVF. And it doesn't matter. I don't even have to walk anybody through this. Bottom line, what it is the same thing. Look how great I am. This neighbor, this other person, this Ariel and Jasmine, they're gonna talk on behalf of Jessica and Hunter. And they're just a lovely, wonderful couple. They just live quietly in their little halfway house with their mom and their drugs and their no baby and their no dog. And they're just living a great fucking life. How dare we do this to them? We put her in the hospital, silent heart attack. She almost died. And all because we have figured it out. And we're not going to stop doing it. That's what you don't get. Just the other day, the day she gave birth, she's back at it again, people. And I know I do a lot of directly talking because I know Jessica and Hunter watch the videos, and I'm glad, but it doesn't matter because they're not getting it. It's not sinking in. Do you people even realize the shit you're doing? I mean, it's not pretty. So right away, back on it, back on target. But now she's Jessica Lewis. She's back to her maiden name and Hunter. So much for my hubby and my wifey in this marriage. Back at it, claiming that she's gonna have a baby that she did. Her due date was September 19th in Mitchell, Indiana, which is not even where they're at in Indiana. Because they're not in Indiana, they're in Ohio. And they popped out another baby, I guess, on September 19th. And I say that keep an eye on it. This might be just a really good thing to say to everybody and anybody that watches this, is to have an awareness to these kind of people that scam on this level, Jessica scamming on this level, is that she's not going to stop. She's going to keep going into other groups and posing as a different person and lying about having a baby. And she has an incredible obsession with babies, an obsession with having a baby, adopting a baby, trying to kidnap a baby. There's something really off with her to be so obsessed with the baby thing. As we know, Jessica has some obsession with children. It was mentioned in the last video I did about her attempting a kidnapping on this child from her cousin. And just yesterday while I was editing, a comment had popped up and I went and read it on YouTube, and this is what it says. Family member here. I seen the kidnapping comment and I can honestly tell you she has tried to before. I remember being a kid and having her living with us. My baby brother had been 2 to 3 years old maybe when my mom tried to kick her out. I don't remember the reasons, but my mom instilled this into us when we got older to be careful around family. According to my mother, Jessica had actually tried to claim my brother was her baby and my mother was keeping him away from her. The police were indeed called, and my mom had to pull out the original birth certificate just to prove that my brother was not Jessica's child. The kidnapping part with Jessica in her history was really a big deal, because what that states to a lot of people that are watching this, a lot of people that know her, is that she does have a history with wanting children, wanting to take children, and this kidnapping thing really is kind of a big deal about what we can say about Jessica's character, is that she would go that low. And there is that concern about Jessica and how far she would actually go to get a baby. And this comment I thought was invaluable. It was very important. And what happened was Hunter immediately responded back and said, no, that's a lie. And of course, he was pointing fingers at other family members, and then saying that Jessica's mom can confirm that that's a lie, that that never happened. Well, of course, you know, we make a comment back, and then immediately it was like quickly the entire thread disappeared. So Hunter, and this is what YouTube allows, is YouTube will allow comments to be reported and they just get deleted. And so the minute actually something that really does show something coming from a family member, obviously credentials are probably good, especially if there's a police record, and that they, okay, we don't want this out there, and they just immediately delete it. So I'm putting it in the video for that reason, because to me this is really important to show that the history with Jessica from other family members is pretty obvious, that she's a very toxic human being, and we have no clue to what extreme Jessica would choose to go to, because everything does seem to center around a baby. I'm not going to put up all the other comments, are gone. And I think it's also important to understand that the video is the important part, and the comments are good. Most definitely welcome all comments, and I'm all about the freedom of speech, allowing everybody to say what they need to say. But it's really the story, the subject, what we're talking about, what I'm talking about here, that needs the attention. So that's why I stress once again to share this, and they can delete comments all day long, but that doesn't make it go away. But if he starts coming back, just watch how he's going to deflect from the truth and try to get everybody's sympathy and feel sorry for me and fall. But none of us really are falling for it on YouTube. But as a viewer, maybe somebody that just hopped in, because I've had a few people go, what the hell did I just stumble across? And it is that, right? It is. It's one of those where you're like, what the hell? Who is this woman, this Jessica? And it is, don't try to figure her out. Just spread the word and share it. It is big. It is big thing going on. I mean, people scam all the time. But the more we expose it, the more we put it out in the groups. If you're on free groups or Amazon groups or any of those groups, share the name, just share it, the scam alert. That's all you have to do. The more is out there, the better that it'll cease or she'll stop. But really the biggest thing for me is that what she is doing is criminal. It is fraud. And I really, really want to see some action. Things are moving. As I always say, the wheels of justice move slowly. Yes. Well, even somebody on this scale will be held accountable one way or another. One way or another. But keep it going. You know, I really like to see it end, like right now. I'm done. No more tears. Not for you.